Thank you, Mr. Gagne. When you think of hockey players at NYA giving their senior speech each year about their love for the sport, you may think that all their stories started in a similar way. Whether it be their relative played professionally, they knew players or staff on pro teams, or it was just their parents' love for the game that got them started, many players were put into skates before they even learned how to walk. For me, however, it was completely different, and my career as a hockey player did not start in the stereotypical way that we have all heard before. As most of you know, I'm from Connecticut, but came here to play the sport I love most. You all probably have something in your life that keeps you going. Through the ups and downs it may bring along the way, it still brings happiness into your life, no matter what. There isn't really an easy way to explain why I love hockey so much, why I get butterflies every time I step on the ice, or why when I play, everything else in my head disappears. But what I can tell you is that it has always been that way, ever since the beginning. I started learning how to play hockey when I was 8 years old. In 2010, when I was 7, my dad took me to my first hockey game ever. I don't really know why we went or how we decided to go, but we did. We saw the Connecticut Whale, a team now known as the Hartford Wolfpack, at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Although we didn't know it then, that night would change my life forever, but in the best way possible. I remember looking at the players and all the equipment they had on, and was thinking to myself that I wanted to be in that gear. We sat behind the bench, right near the glass, so every time they skated past that area, I would get a whiff of how they smelled. And I could smell it even better when they walked in and out of the locker room through the tunnel, because I always had to reach over the railing to high-five them, every single period. It was gross and probably one of the worst things I've ever smelled, but for some reason, I wanted to be one of them. At some point during the game, I turned to my dad out of nowhere and randomly said, "I want to play hockey." My dad looked a little shocked, surprised, and confused as to why I just blurted this out, and I'm sure he was. This was something that literally came out of nowhere. No one in my family, parents, cousins, siblings, aunts, or uncles ever played hockey before, and barely watched enough games to understand how the sport actually worked. So I guess this was a little strange coming from me, knowing I really had no idea what hockey was. Even though he may have felt confused in the moment, he responded with, "Okay, we'll get you in skating lessons then." And just like that, I was signed up pretty much the next day. I worked my way through the basics of skating and eventually started the Learn to Play Hockey program. For this, I needed a full set of gear. So one day, my dad took me to Play It Again Sports in West Hartford, Connecticut, and he bought me every single piece of used hockey equipment that I needed. I remember searching up on YouTube almost every day how to put on hockey gear. And I was weirdly obsessed with watching those videos. I think I've seen every single one that is made on the internet. Then a few days later, I was putting it all to use, and of course put my gear on just like the videos had taught me. To make a very long story short, I got through Learn to Play lessons, finished in-house hockey, then began to get into full ice games where I played with the boys until I was 13. After that age, I moved to an all-girls team where I played for both my U14 years. I switched organizations again to the Connecticut Northern Lights, where I played for 3.5 years before playing for Casco Bay this year. My first year at the Lights was the best team I've been on, and my favorite. We pushed through states together against a rival team in Connecticut, regionals in New Hampshire, where we lost with 3 seconds left in the third period, and then got a bid to nationals a few days after that. We made a good run there, where we only lost 1-0 in the quarterfinal game against a team from Philadelphia. Half of their girls were already committed to Division I colleges, so I'm surprised it was even that close. But I'm not going to bore you with the specifics of these seasons, because that doesn't matter to me. How I got here and the relationships I built with people along the way matter the most to me. Whether that was when I played with the Northern Lights, Casco Bay, summer or holiday tournaments, festival tryouts, New England camps in New Hampshire, national camp in Minnesota, or playing prep hockey here at NYA. Because of the sport of hockey, I have made lifelong friendships with teammates and coaches from all over the country. You never know who you will meet and where it will lead you later on in your life. It's crazy to think that during a summer random tournament in August of 2018, I met Riley, who would become such a big part of my life and the very reason I found out about NYA. I would have never thought that sitting next to a random girl in the locker room would bring me here giving this speech in front of all of you today. I'm grateful that we had each other to talk to, while the rest of the team is participating in activities that I will not mention. But I guess you could say that this is the exact moment where my path to NYA began. With that said, I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason. Yes, it's cliche, and everyone always hears it, but it really is true. Even if it may not seem like it in the moment, every single decision that you make, big or small, will lead you down your own path in life. We are all here at NYA right now because of one decision that we made. For me, even though there was that one moment that led me here a few years ago, it all started by going to that hockey game with my dad in 2010. Although we're all living different lives, we all somehow ended up here on the same field, under the same tent. With that in mind, don't stress the little things, because they will work themselves out. Don't look back into what has already happened in your life, and don't look ahead into what might happen in your future. We are all where we should be at this exact moment in our lives. Life keeps moving forward, and it will never stop. So live in the moment, because that is all we get, and we won't be here forever. Trust the process, and trust the paths that you are given and that you take in life, because in the end, you will always end up where you need to be, surrounded by the people who are meant to be in your life. Along with my team on the ice, I've always had my own team behind me at home. My mom and dad have supported me with each choice I have made up to this point in my life. They learned to love the sport of hockey just as much as I do, and continuously make an effort to watch all my games no matter where they are. They have put the time, money, and effort into what I love to do most, and give me the opportunity to continue doing what makes me happy each and every day. Mom, whether that be in your classroom, with my games projected on your board, and all your students cheering me on in the back, or trying to log into Live Barn so Grammy and Poppy can watch me play, even though they never know where the puck is or where I am. And Dad, taking time off from work to drive me all around New England, taking flights to different states, and putting an unnecessary number of miles in your car, which is still holding up very well, by the way. Oh, and the extra money you spent on 2 hotel rooms instead of 1, because I truly cannot listen to you snore. The past 12 years have been non-stop, but the best years of my life. Never in a million years would I think I'd move away from home at 15 years old to go to a high school in Maine. But it just makes it that more exciting whenever I get to come home and see my parents again. All the sacrifices they have made for me, and to give me a chance to play and pursue hockey, no matter where it has taken me or where it will take me in the future, are things I will always be grateful for. I will never be able to show them the appreciation they deserve or pay them back for everything they have done for me. Jana, you have never left my side and never failed to keep me going when I don't think I'm good enough. All the times when I came home after a game and said I played terrible, you were always quick to tell me that I was being ridiculous and was one of the best ones on the ice, even though I never believed you. You're the best big sister I could ever ask for, and I wouldn't want to share a room with anyone else. And Kyle, who is probably in the field or a desert somewhere right now in California. No matter how much he may know me sometimes, I never told him, or the rest of my family, that he made me ugly cry when he sent notes home while he was at boot camp 3 years ago. I would take the letters into my room and read them over and over again just to give me motivation, which is something he knows that I do very well. He always told me that he was proud of me and proud to be my big brother. To always stay positive and to give 100% effort with anything I do. So to the people on my little team at home in Connecticut, who's always been there for me, I love you. Thank you.